don't push the
What's this button do?
we're getting more.
All right, I'd like to call this November IT meeting to order. First motion of business is to accept the meetings from the October 6th meeting. Motion to accept. Anybody? Oh, I think it's close.
I'll accept. I'll make a motion.
All right, thank you. Motion by Paul, second.
Second.
Second by Matt. Thank you. Any questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, on to Roger, cybersecurity report.
All right, good morning. The good news is we made it through the election unscathed, it appears. There was quite a bit of run up to the election in the cybersecurity business. We got some new software, quite a few alerts from the state and everything, but to all appearances, things worked out well. I'm not daring anybody to try something. I'm just saying things considered to work out fairly well. In the cybersecurity report for this month, that you will see that was pretty much the focus of October, because we started getting a lot of election alerts and be on the lookout for kind of things. We had over 6,000 phishing emails blocked this month, which tells you something about the scope of what we're getting on any given day. And we also did a little experiment of our own again. This was our second run through a large staff. We did fairly well. We're going to now work on a training program to address the deficiencies that we found, which fortunately weren't many, but there are folks out there, so we're going to try to reinforce some of our training. And last month, if you recall, we talked about the security statistics, and you remember that one point was way out of whack with all the other points. And after talking with Karen about it, I can analogize it to you put up a security camera outside your house, and you may get a lot of animals or something running through the yard, so it alerts, but then you look at it and you say, well, that's not really something I have to do something about. It's not a guy sneaking around trying to get into my house, it's just an alert. So that's why you see that big difference in alerts versus actionable items. So the actionable items are still relatively stable, but you just got more alerts and hits, or things that we had to take a closer look at, which is why that big spike was there. It just seemed like it was so far out of whack, but sometimes you get more alerts, but they don't necessarily generate anything that's actionable on anybody's part. That's all I have to say about that.
Excellent. All right, any questions for Roger? All right, excellent. Moving on to information technology. Terry, I see you on there. Go right ahead. Unmute yourself and go ahead.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I have a couple of different things this morning. One is the project update, which I could go ahead and we could do first, if that works for everybody.
That's fine. Yep.
I'm going to share out my screen. Can everybody see that?
Momentarily, we good now. Yep.
Okay, super. So on the project update for this month, I have added some projects that we have completed during this past month, as well as to continue moving things forward. Would you have a preference of whether you'd like me to run through the project list, or did you want to take a look and let me know if you have any? What would work?
Speak to the things that are later than expected.
Those are, one is the Chronos timekeeping software upgrade, which we are almost done. Training has completed on that, all of the super user and the manager training. And we are in the process of running parallel, starting with the next 2 payroll cycles, and should go live by the end of the year. So mid-December is when we're looking at going live on that. The Windows 10 deployment is really, really close. We just have a couple of stragglers out there. Part of it actually ties into the gas project, because we can't complete that project until we get the rest of the gas software upgraded, because we can't move off of Windows 7 with the old gas software. So the gas project that you'll see listed on there that has been kicked off and is in motion is a portion of the reason that that project is not completed yet. We did have some successfully completed software or projects for the RPS property, for SJS, for the sheriff's office onto a new server. old firewalls are decommissioned and out of our environment, which is a win.
Excellent. Looking good. Any questions for Terry on the projects?
Terry, I did have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I know we have our planned replacement for the PCs. And I forget, what was our planned replacement for our servers? Did we have one of those, have one for that?
So the servers, we run a virtual environment. And so we have new servers from 2018 is when we purchased new servers. So there isn't any physical replacement on the servers. We have several servers that we're still migrating, getting rid of the old servers and spinning up new virtual servers, but nothing physical hardware related. It's all virtual.
What's the normal life of physical hardware server?
So the physical servers, ballpark about 5 years is when I recommend replacing the servers.
And that's why we're virtual?
What's that?
And that's why we're virtual then with the servers?
Well, no, the reason we're virtual is it gives us a lot of flexibility. So you have two different options when you talk about a server environment for a business or government or any entity for that matter. One is physical, like a workstation or a laptop that you have where you turn it on, it loads up the Windows operating system and it works. In an environment such as ours, that's not typically feasible because we have more than 80 servers in our environment. And so you'd have 80 of those boxes that are kind of sitting around. And back in the old days, that was the way that it worked. And so you had a single server for each, a single physical server for each device that you had on the environment. In today's world, with the introduction of Vmware and Virtualization or Hyper-V, there's a couple of different virtualization platforms. It allows you to take servers. So we have, say, 6, just to use some hypothetical numbers, say 6 physical servers that incorporate your CPU, which is your processing power, your RAM power, and then you have a separate storage server that does all of the hard drive storage. And then you actually can take that pool of resources and then you divvy it up and say, I'm going to bring up this server today. I need 4 gigs of RAM on this. And if I get too technical and too in depth, you can stop me. And this is going to be a storage of this application. You have another small section and that's going to go for this server. And then you can pull many more virtual servers out of many less physical servers. And it allows you to really be flexible inside the environment, including great backup strategy and replication.
So instead of having so new physical hard drive, you can just add hard drives for more space on one of these servers.
Yeah, the servers themselves these days don't even have hard drive space. They have small SD cards that run the Linux-based virtualization platform, but the actual servers themselves don't store on them. You store on a central and network attached device so you can be flexible and move the servers around from device to device. So you have centralized storage. And yes, you can add additional shelf to those boxes.
So Terry, is that contracted space instead of owned space? Is that what we're talking about?
No, we have physical appliances here in the IT data center that manage that.
Okay. So it's just efficiency then?
Yeah, it's very efficient that way. If anybody is ever interested, you could stop down. I'd be happy to give you a tour.
Careful what you wish for.
I think sometimes, at least in the IT world, it's much easier to wrap around something if you can actually see it and put your hands on it, at least from my perspective, whether it be, hardware or a technology concept or software, anything of that nature. It's always an open door here.
Very good.
All right.
Is the server room cool enough?
Is the server what?
Is the server room cool enough? For the past 10 years, all we heard about how the server room was too hot.
Yeah, well, we have a lot less equipment in it now. So it is actually keeping up at this point. We did have some air conditioning issues last year, but they were able to work those out. So it's good.
Any other questions? All right, moving on to, you have a DSS temporary position you want to discuss, Terry?
Yeah, this was moved, I believe, from the Health and Human Services Committee. I'm not sure that I need to discuss it, but I don't know if anybody has questions. We were looking for a temporary backfill on the position of, I'm not going to remember the title, computer coordinator, I believe it is. It is a position where we have an employee who is out on military duty, and that has been extended. So now it's looking to be out until the end of March. So we're looking to bring somebody in because it's really putting a big strain on, well, DSS and the IT department trying to keep that up and running right now.
So do we need a motion to move that to personnel? Yeah. Entertain a motion to move that to personnel. So Matt,
Move
second.
it.
Thanks, Cassie. All right, any discussion on that? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you very much, Terry. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Terry?
I don't have anything else today unless anybody has any questions.
All right. Any other business for the IT committee? All right, seeing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn at 10:11. We'll go right into finance. Into personnel. You want to switch?
So we're gonna get break.
You're the one who drinks.
You're all older than the rest of us. All the rest of us. At least one older than you. Hey.
More mess. We okay, Debbie?
We're all set, right? Yes.
All right, I'll call the personnel meeting to order. Entertain a motion to accept the minutes from October 6th. Moved by Dave, seconded by Jay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Melissa, department staffing requests, staffing pattern changes. Start with Public Works, if you would.
I will. Good morning. The first request from Department of Public Works is for a Highway Supervisor 2. The current employee is going to be retiring December 22nd, and the superintendent is asking to backfill that position.
Do you want to do them one at a time, or do you want to explain them all at once and then do them one at a time?
I can go through the whole list if that makes sense. There are a lot of her backfill requests are because of 2 retirements, I believe. So it is a cascading effect.
Sure, why don't you go give us the whole overview first.
Okay. So yes, we have the Highway Supervisor 2 backfill due to retirement. There's also a Highway Supervisor 1 backfill request, and that is due to that person promoting to the Highway Supervisor 2 position. There is a request for 2 Highway Worker 3s. I'm sorry, it's 2 Highway Worker 3 backfills. In talking to her, you'll know on your agenda that she did withdraw one of the requests. She called this morning, and we're actually putting one of those requests back on the agenda for this morning. So that is going to be for 2 Highway Worker 3 backfills. And then we have a request for 3 Highway Worker 2 backfills.
Okay, and just to be clear, the Highway Supervisor 1 is going to be moving up to the Highway Supervisor 2 position?
That's correct.
Okay, and the Highway Worker 2s are moving up to the Highway Worker 3s?
Yes.
All right, in total, there's no additional change in the staffing pattern where we're adding any employees. It's just a matter of filling in all the gaps.
Yes, that is correct. No additional
Okay, so-
personnel.
So before we go ahead and do them one at a time, does anybody have any questions before we get started?
It's move up day, is that what you're saying?
It's moving up day. That's a good way of putting it. Okay. All right, so the first one is backfilling Highway Supervisor 2. Do I have a motion on that? Don, seconded by Jay. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now we want to backfill most of the Highway Supervisor 1,
Yes, please.
correct? Okay,
Yes.
I'll entertain that motion. Jay, seconded by Don. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. And then we're going to backfill 2 Highway Worker 3 positions, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then, just so I'm clear, then we're going to backfill 3 Highway Worker 2s. Is there a current Highway Worker 2 open?
There is a retirement of one of the highway worker 2s. And I'm sorry, yes. The retirement of 1, and then
Okay.
there would be
2 are moving up.
promotion of 2.
Okay, I wanted to make sure why there's a difference between the 2 and the 3. It's because it's the retirement of a Highway Worker 2. Okay.
Correct.
So the next item would be to entertain a motion to backfill 2 Highway Worker 3 positions. Dave, second. Either Sue's frozen, she's seconding or adjusting her glasses, I can't tell which. Second from somebody?
And Don Ward and Jay Scully,
I think they're frozen also. Are they frozen, Tim?
they're on ours. They're on ours.
Yeah, you guys, now I've realized what was happening.
Oh, this is the last PC that needs to be upgraded from the IT department, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. All right. Debbie, do you have a second? Did you get a second from somebody?
Hey, Matt, pick me, pick me.
Okay,
They're over anxious to do it.
all right. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And now the last position is to backfill 3 positions of a Highway Worker 2.
Correct.
Correct, okay. I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Dave, seconded by Don and Jay. All right. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we've gotten through the highway workers. We on to the sewer district next, Melissa?
Yes. Sewer District 2 has a compost operator position. It's been vacated since a retirement that took place in September. There has been a temporary fill of that position. Joe would like to come in now and ask to permanently backfill that compost operator position. It was filled at the rate of $25.17 an hour. It would be now filled at the rate of $21.63 an hour. So there is a decrease in cost.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to backfill a compost operator.
So moved.
Moved by Dave, seconded by
Don Ward.
Don Ward. Okay, John. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody's.
Opposed?
You got,
Carried.
you're still free, your screen's still free.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
This must have been in the server room where it's so cold, this thing keeps freezing up out there. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I can't see Don and Jay. Okay. Okay, let's go to DSS, Melissa.
Okay. Department of Social Services has an account clerk position. That employee had retired as of November 1st, and the commissioner is asking to backfill that position.
And these have all been approved through the Health and Human Services Committee, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to backfill the account clerk position from DSS. Moved by Dave,
Second by Don and Sue.
seconded by Don and Sue. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye. They all said yes.
Opposed? Carried. Next, an examiner.
The next request is to backfill a social services examiner position. This person actually took a different position within the department that had been previously approved. So the person that was last in the position was at the rate of $19.34 an hour. The new rate would be $18.59 an hour, also a decrease.
Okay, entertain a motion to move by Dave, seconded by whoever Debbie sees. Okay,
Word and Clary.
all right. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay.
Good, Joe.
Nah, it's okay. That makes more.
Sure.
Yeah, we're fine.
We'll keep them straight.
Now you have 2 caseworker positions?
I do. There are 2 backfill requests for caseworkers. One was a resignation and one was a termination. So we would like to backfill both of those positions.
Okay, so they're both empty currently.
Correct.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Dave? Who's gonna second it, Dave? There you go. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Leave it right there, because now my screen's frozen with Don with his hands up, so he seconds everything now. Okay. All right.
I can't believe James set you up, that's so funny.
IT chair is kind of pranking me today.
Mine was going on and off the whole time.
Okay, now we're gonna do something we just did, right? So next one's the computer operations coordinator.
Yes, there was a
And how's that
request,
being taken care of?
there was a request to backfill the computer operations coordinator. This position is temporarily, it's a temporary backfill due to the current person being out on military leave.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to do that. Dave, second.
I think Don and Drew.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Other business, Melissa?
I do, and my other business has grown just a little bit, so I apologize ahead for that. The first thing I wanted to mention under the other business is that we have an open enrollment period coming up for the retiree Medicare Advantage plan, which are all the retirees that are on county insurance. That current plan is Humana. There have been live webinars scheduled for November 17th and 18th. They are at 1 o'clock on the 17th and 10 a.m. on the 18th. So the people that participate in those plans have received, by now, I believe they've all received a postcard from Humana, and they will receive their new coupon books and a notice from our broker, Jager and Flynn, in upcoming days. There's also going to be a link that is going to be available. Humana has put this together so that people are unable to attend either one of those live webinars. They can actually just click on the link and get that information on the program through that. If they don't wish to make any changes, they don't need to do anything. But it's just some information on the plans. There have not been really any large changes in coverage this year at all.
Okay, that's good to know.
The other thing I did want to mention, as we did discuss the backfill request for the caseworker positions in DSS, if anyone is aware of anyone that would be qualified for a caseworker position or is interested in that, we are having a little bit of difficulty filling those positions. We have a list. The last couple times we've canvassed that list, we're not getting responses. So we have scheduled a civil service exam, which will take place, I believe, in February. It has been scheduled. We have pushed out that announcement for the exam, but we are definitely looking for caseworkers.
And it's an issue of, you know, people that aren't up to speed, aren't qualified?
We have an existing list right now. For whatever reasons, when we're asking people if they're interested in the position, either the time's not right for them possibly, or maybe it's monetary. I don't know the reason, but we're not getting the responses back. So I'm not quite sure where that's going to leave us, other than we may have to start appointing people provisionally. And they'll just have to take the civil service exam and be reachable after that has been given. Not ideal. It's where we are.
Okay. What else do you have?
The other thing I wanted to mention is that our current county administrator, Chris DeBolt, has submitted his resignation effective December 1st is his last day. So I personally would like to wish Chris the best. Definitely going to miss him at this level. We are currently working on posting the position and advertising that. So we'll see where that brings us in upcoming weeks.
Okay, that's all posted on our website?
I just went on this morning on our website, and we will be advertising, sending it to different affiliations. NISAC received the post this morning. I believe they have already posted it. Going out to some colleges online. So yeah, get it out there as much as we can. The other position that I would like to mention that we have a vacancy with is the probation director, Group A. The current probation director has announced his retirement, which will take place the end of December, on December 31st. So we will be advertising this position as well, if that is what you choose to do. We currently do have a civil service list for probation director. We have 2 candidates on this eligible list currently. So I guess I'm looking for a little direction on whether you would like me to advertise the position to the general public, announce it on the website, or what we would like to do with that.
Well, certainly, I think we should follow the procedures that we've done in the past, which is advertising and looking for candidates. I'm a little reluctant because, I don't know, Don, should we run this through public safety first? But I assume that that's not for another 3 weeks or so, which just puts us behind the 8 ball. Do you have any thoughts on that, Don?
No, kind of whatever the committee wants to do about it.
Okay. And I think Roger would like to raise a point.
Yes, thank you. So Melissa, when we say advertise to the general public, I just want to make sure the supervisors know the general public's not really eligible for this job. It's a very, very specific set of qualifications that qualify you for this position. So while you might think, well, somebody, you know, who's worked in law enforcement or whatever might be a good candidate for it, and they might be, the job requirements as dictated to us by the state are relatively, probably one of the narrowest ones we have, actually, for any job that we have here. So there's going to be a smaller number of folks that are able to qualify for this position to start with. So when we say we're throwing it out to other folks who meet this smaller pool of qualifications, not to anybody who thinks they'd be good at this or might actually be good at being the director of probation. It's a very finite pool because of the requirements. You had to actually work in a certain title in probation for a certain amount of time. Those are the only people that are eligible to be appointed.
Okay. Dave?
So, Melissa, is there a test to this?
Yes, it's a civil service competitive position. And Roger's absolutely correct. It's a very specific job description that's created by New York State Civil Service. I don't have the job description in front of me, but I believe it's as narrow as you have to currently be a probation supervisor to even be qualified for this exam.
Okay, but can I say reasonably in the past for other department heads, et cetera, we've typically done a search and trying to find candidates, and since we're going to be doing an amazing search coming up for an administrator, which is going to be a lot of work, we should probably get started on this also to kind of get them. I don't want to wait till after we go through this if we don't have to. We should kind of get going on this, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I wasn't saying don't do it.
No.
I just wanted you to know
finite pool.
Right, it's a finite pool, and when we said throw it open to the public, it means throw it open to people who don't work for us that qualify.
Okay. Dave?
So the correct terminology is we throw it open to anyone who's got these credentials.
Correct.
And we'll find it with every job.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we, is anybody opposed to Melissa starting the search to putting the information out there to see what kind of candidates we get? Looks like everybody's okay with that. So Melissa, can you get that ball rolling? I'm sure you know where to send this information out to, and you have a list of the qualifications that are necessary, and you'll be getting resumes back. And when they start coming back, we'll figure out a process, that may be separate from other processes we're doing or similar, or we'll get the ball rolling. But as far as you can tell, right now, we'll be looking for somebody basically January 1st.
Yes, as of January 1st, the position will be vacant.
Okay, and so, though that seems a ways off, it's not really that far off. If it gets to January 1st and we haven't made a decision, are the two options you do a temporary assignment there? And if we don't do that, I'm going to say this because he's not in the room, does it fall to the chairman that he becomes the probation director? Is that the way it works? I mean, if we didn't have anybody on just January 2nd, what's the status? It's just open?
Is there a deputy?
There is
Yeah.
not a deputy. You have two probation supervisors, probation supervisor 1 that are currently in those positions.
So you'd have to appoint an acting director to do it, or you could appoint an acting director, or you could do it, only for administrative purposes, have your favorite supervisor do it, but they wouldn't really be qualified to sign reports and things, because again, you need those qualifications.
So that was my point, is that would not be an efficient way to move forward, to just kind of default it to the chairman, because he doesn't really qualify to do the things that are going to be needed to move.
Right, it would be I've got a guy that I want to hire, but can't start for 2 weeks solution, not a 3-month solution.
Gotcha, okay.
And I'll mention also that, it being a civil service competitive position, you could appoint one of the current supervisors that we have here to the position. There is a.
Wait, you don't mean supervisors, you mean.
Oh, no.
Thank you, all right, good.
No.
Don't scare us like that. Okay.
I thought Dan beat it all over, he was ready.
I was gonna ask for volunteers and all of a sudden the screens were all gonna be shut off. Okay.
So we have 2 current probation supervisors that could qualify to fill in, and also they meet the qualifications to appoint him for the director's position.
Both candidates do meet the qualifications. I believe they are both on the current eligible list. The interesting thing here is that it's not a mandatory civil service list because there's only 2 candidates. You actually have to have 3 on the list for it to be a mandatory list. So when it's less than 3, the supervisors would have the option of either promoting one of these current supervisors or hiring from outside and having a provisional appointment.
Okay. All right. So it appears no one's opposed to the process getting started. So let's have your office get that going as soon as you can.
Okay, we will begin now.
David?
Back on the list for a second, Melissa. On the list, we have some on the list here. Would someone else who's already taken the test from another county who's on the list for probation director in another county qualify to be on the list here?
No, we can't share lists. Say if Warren County has a list, I'm not allowed to take somebody from their list. But certainly if someone from another county qualifies to take our position, we could appoint someone to that provisionally, or and they would also have the opportunity to take our Washington County Civil Service exam.
Do you recall offhand, I know you don't have it in front of you, whether that's a county residency is a requirement?
I don't believe it is.
Okay.
There's very few positions in the county that are actually required to live in the county, but I could be wrong. I will definitely check on that.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion regarding the situation at probation director? Though we certainly wish Anthony well in his retirement and his jurisprudence in Hudson Falls and Kingsbury.
Question for Melissa.
Yep.
Melissa, how much difference can there be in a civil service test from one county to another? They don't take the same test for the same position?
I would say most likely for this specific title, there's no difference because this,
Okay.
the job spec is actually created by New York State Civil Service, and we're all told that this is the
That's
title.
kind of what I was thinking. If it's that narrow, it couldn't really be any different. But
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be in this case.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions or discussion regarding the probation director position? Okay, Melissa, any others that you have?
The only final thing I wanted to mention, and I know Terry mentioned it during IT, is the Kronos update. I just want to let the personnel committee know that we did finish the manager and user training. That's completed. We're going to begin the parallels, which is where both versions of Kronos run at the same time. It's a little extra work on the side of the departments, and I apologize ahead to all of them for that, because it's kind of a busy time of year anyway with some holidays coming up. Unfortunately, our hands are tied and we just got to move forward. So I appreciate their patience in all of this and the extra work that it's going to cause them. But we will have the new system up and implemented by the middle of December. That's good news. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that I was asked to look into some de-escalation training at the recommendation of the chairman of the board and the county administrator. So I've been looking into some resources for this verbal de-escalation training. This training is going to supply employees with comprehensive training in the process of preventing escalation. This probably could benefit some of our employees that deal with the public. And as time gets a little more stressful for people with the holidays coming, on top of everything else they're dealing with, it's probably not a bad time to be offering this. I just wanted to let you know about this, that I'm working on it, and let you know that probably at some point there will be a request to transfer some training funds to pay for this de-escalation training. I'm not looking to offer it to all employees by any means, because I don't think we're able to do that at this time, but maybe just kind of hit some of the hot spots and give that availability to some departments that could use that help.
And is it safety officer who does that training? Or an outside group?
I'm looking actually at an outside group because of the way things are right now. There is a resource that I have was recommended by our employee assistance program. And this training would be online and the departments would have the flexibility of when their employees could actually view the training, so they wouldn't have to watch all modules at once. But I think it's supposed to be a really good training. Obviously, our safety officer's kind of busy with other trainings, so I think this would probably be very helpful if we could help him along with an outside source.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Melissa on the de-escalation training?
This is,
Okay.
is any of that,
Go ahead.
is any of that similar to what the de-escalation training the sheriff does?
I'm not familiar with what training the sheriff has over there, actually.
Because when I talked to Sheriff Murphy, they do de-escalation training with it, and a lot of it is when I talked to them, it's actually live scenarios that they do. But I didn't know if it was similar to what you're looking to do.
I don't know, but I think I should probably reach out to the sheriff and see what he has and if there's anything that we could use over here.
That's a good idea, Don.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything else, Melissa?
I do not have anything else.
Does anybody else have anything to come before the committee this morning? David?
Curiosity, are we going to review the job description for the administrator?
Not today. The answer is yes, but not today. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Matt. I'm not frozen. Melissa, I on the de-escalation training, they used to offer it through Cornell. And I don't know if Tammy DeLorme might have, they may still do it through DSS. I don't know if they do or not. Maybe
Okay.
Chris might know. But that was an excellent training source, and that's another opportunity possibly, but it might be a different clientele.
Okay, I will
Okay.
definitely make that call as well. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, Okay, anything else to come before the committee this morning?
I guess when Sue talks, she takes her secretary off the page. Oh, but she's back.
Okay. Sue's assistant. Okay, in that case, the personnel committee is adjourned.